Alrighty, guys, welcome back. It's your boy EQ, and up next we have how Kendrick just responded and got the last laugh on Drake and his meltdown forever. Shout out to Fantastic Hip Hop for the video. Plus, we're also going to be covering a resurfaced freestyle from Drake that really points to his constant hypocrisy, and it involves a minor. So definitely stay tuned to the end for that. And if you guys saw the breaking news yesterday, Paperwork Poppy was back at it yet again with some wild information requests in his ongoing UMG lawsuit, where he asked for things like paternity tests for Kendrick's children and a host of other scandalous requests that to me honestly just seem irrelevant to the ongoing case, so I expect most of these to actually be denied. His narratives about Kendrick didn't stick, and because he got his ass kicked, he seems to be resorting to asking the court for help in throwing mud at Kendrick Lamar. And it's super telling how bothered he is and the fact that he still can't get over this beef. Supremely egregious sore loser activity to the extreme. But it's not like Drake has shown any grace in defeat, and this is just another act that confirms just that. Kendrick Lamar never claimed to be a perfect individual nor a savior, but where did this narrative originate that he's not the father of his kids? Because before Drake said it, I never heard any talk about that. And again, what does that have to do with confirming that UMG helped to artificially inflate Not Like Us to defame him? It makes no sense, because to me the only use for this information is to tarnish Kendrick Lamar's character. Drake has done more damage to his own reputation than he could ever blame anyone else for. You got dog walk lyrically, strategically, numbers wise, and even you have to understand that you can't fake the impact that Kendrick Lamar has had and is continuing to have socially and culturally, because we see it in real time and in real life. Whether it's people on social media reposting the record and doing skits and reacting and really showing how much they love the record, to the already historic Grand National Tour, where he's performing in front of raucous, packed out, sellout stadiums, literally show in and show out. Something that the cult of the Ovihoites claimed that he couldn't do, not just in the US, but internationally, as if this guy was some new act and not one of the premier artists of his generation. Kendrick doesn't have to humor these requests with a response, because he's been too busy to kick a metaphorical smoking corpse. He's just wrapped up this leg of the tour and should spend this time off with family, because all he has is about a month before the tour kicks back up again for the next leg. Kendrick honestly has nothing to prove anymore, and like I said earlier, we'll also be covering a very hypocritical freestyle from Drake, especially if those allegations about him are true. So enough dilly-dallying, let's jump right into the video, where we have Kendrick just responded and got the last laugh on Drake and his meltdown forever. Plus again guys, stay tuned for the end, because I'm going to be covering that freestyle as well. Crazy, but I thought this case was about UMG, bots, and payola, not Kendrick Lamar's personal life.
Now, when it comes to Drake and Kendrick Lamar, well, now I gotta cut the music for a second, because before we go any further, as I'm getting news that Drake and his crazed fans and team may be coming after me next. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe, because really, I'm gonna
best believe. They've been naming people to that lawsuit left and right, so don't be surprised if you do get named.
need all the support I can possibly get, and I really mean that today, because when it comes to lame-o Lawbury and the king of rap in Kendrick Lamar,
it's literally the four vultures of the apocalypse.
well, now as Drake has become the Karen of all Karens and is Karening out so bad that a rap beef has turned into the quest for DNA tests, well, within this, what I love to see and what's important to highlight within this fall off and all of this truly terrible stuff for hip-hop and for Drake with his actions, with the detachment from his name to hip-hop and its culture forever, well, all comes down to how
he's pretty much effectively made it so that even if he wins, people are still going to be done with this dude. Because if you're requesting this type of information, you can't say that you filed this lawsuit to expose the industry, to help out the smaller artists. You're just trying to expose Kendrick Lamar and not have to sue him directly, because if you did, it would pretty much be a wrap, given the fact that he can argue that you did the same thing, if not worse.
The other side of hip-hop is responding to the crazed Karens on a search for paternity tests. And now with what I am talking about, I'm not referring to anything going on the fan level or anything like that, but for Kendrick Lamar himself and the people around him. And what I think this week and this moment that Drake has just created is a perfect instance of is
that B-roll was literally him throwing his Iceman records in the trash.
When you're not a basement dweller who defends Drake way too much, just clearly showcasing over everything else who is on the right side and wrong of hip-hop history and every single artistic precedent that we have seen as a whole, literally in the history of human expression. Because again, when you understand what this moment is really about, it is this big in terms of the stakes of it all. And now listen, what I am really saying is that now while one side is running around and sharing images of another grown man's wife and kid, all to try and have whatever gotcha moment that they believe this is, although of course, there is literally nothing going on other than Drake just publicly putting out these delusions and paperwork. Well, what Kendrick Lamar's side of hip hop has done first off is
Fam, Kendrick Lamar nor his team have addressed this at all. It's just business as usual, like I said, with them executing every step in the way and running probably one of the most exciting rap tours of all time.
collectively see the BS and insanity that the courtside Karen has done.
They don't
And,
deserve a
instead of
response.
going
That's
on
what they
insane
want.
tangents on social media or doing whatever other weird things that these people who like Drake just keep doing, all everybody on Kendrick's side did was go to their place where they listened to music and just played Not Like Us. Because really, I'm sure like a lot of you, when you see the pathetic and humiliating things that Drake is doing,
I saw somebody write in the comments that Not Like Us had another surge. I feel like if Drake really wants a future in marketing, he's doing the right thing. If he doesn't, and he doesn't want to keep helping Kendrick Lamar, just stop bringing up this beef. You've already done enough damage to your career.
and how far he is trying to drag things, it just makes you want to listen to this song all the more. And this is why with this record as a whole, well, once again, it just skyrocketed on the charts, which first off with this, when it comes to Drake, and specifically what he said and what he wants to prove with this case in the first place, well, you can see in real time how it's not bots or machines that made this song work and cement itself as the all
Like I've said before, I've been in the industry for a very long time. You can put all the money you want behind an artist, but if the public isn't relating to it, if they're not gravitating to it, then it's all going to be futile. It's just going to be wasted money. Look at somebody like Lil Nas X or Ice Spice. You can claim bots, which Drake should know as being a veteran of the music industry. That's pretty much an industry standard practice, but you can't fake the people at that stadium. You can't fake 40 to 70,000 people plus all on the same wavelength, singing every bar word for word. Every one of those narratives trying to spin the idea that Kendrick Lamar's run is artificial was torpedoed as soon as we saw those stadiums. And we could see it before this tour even started, guys. We were seeing marching bands from like around the world playing Not Like Us. We were seeing every sports broadcast playing Not Like Us. It became the theme song to sports, a literal mantra. You can't go and say that this is bots when we're seeing it in real life.
time hit record that it is. But and I
The
know this may
phenomenon
be
still.
shocking for the Drake fans who are still listening to me speak for some reason, but just brace yourselves because you may not like this. It has been your guys' own self-humiliation and embarrassment, which has just continued to get worse and worse all the way to the point where pretty much now anytime that Karen's out and all of us see how bad of a Karen he is, the song only becomes more relevant once again, which I don't think that Karen has figured this out yet.
It's like how many woodchucks can a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Just in Karen form.
But again, you can just see how the organic reaction and demand surges this song's popularity in real time. And it's not machines or fake numbers, but it's his own delusion that keeps making Not Like Us the all-time track that it is. And so
It's not just a delusion, but it's definitely a factor. If you keep bringing it up, guess what? People are going to run right back to the record to support it because they do not rock with you.
with this, as one side of hip-hop is running around and doing whatever you want to call the verbal incoherent slop that they keep putting
This commercial is literally what Kendrick Lamar did to Drake, dismantled him.
on their timeline that I keep seeing for some
Bro, it's
reason.
just glitching
the
out
other
now.
group is just listening to music and supporting their favorite artist. First off, I think even in terms of how just the fans feel and perceive music, it's very telling about who is on the right side of rap music here, and then also who is about the gimmicks. And now at the same time as all of this, when it comes to how Kendrick Lamar has been moving this week alongside whatever the courtside Karen of rap has been doing, well, once again,
Shit, he's not even welcome courtside. He was banned from the Toronto's mic for acting like a fool.
and I think we can learn a lot just by seeing where these two are standing and what they are doing with their time, and even in the bigger picture, what the legacy and impact that they are leaving with in this moment. Because for Drake, well, he is only leaving losers with more fuel to lose once again, and just believe further in the fantasy world that he has created so carefully to avoid the fact that they have lost once. On the other side of things for Kendrick Lamar, they're a big
It's been a constant stream of L's. I wouldn't just say it's one L. Each move that Drake has made has been like a strategic dud.
things going on, and with how professional he keeps things, you would never even know what he is being dragged into by all of these Karens, because
Silence is power. Sometimes no response is the best response, especially when it's something ludicrous like what Drake is doing.
really, as Kendrick just finished the European leg of the Grand National Tour, which marked the
was
39th
rocking.
show on the entire run of all-time hip-hop performances. Well, what we are seeing now is through all the ridiculous stuff going on, and through Drake annoying him and trying to get his family involved in their beef now, Kendrick is not just continuing to stick to what he stands for, which is making great music and speaking through his art exclusively and not getting involved in any of the other
But that's always been him. Kendrick Lamar wasn't the guy that was out here talking on social media, going on live and crashing out. When we did hear him speak, it was through his music, a rare video, or up accepting another Grammy or another award.
But even greater than that is Kendrick just finished off
And that graduation ceremony, that was pretty dope.
something that no other has never even close to. When you see the way the people who have been alongside him for the journey are showing love to him, which we have seen most prominently with both SZA and Mustard, well, when you just see both of these stars thank Kendrick for the experience that they have played such a key part in and that they have worked in tandem on.
And again, they have been so vital to this tour. And as for Mustard, I definitely want to give him his flowers. He was the architect behind the soundscape of Not Like Us, a person that truly bet on himself because he literally gave up his whole catalog a few years ago to go independent. Guys, publishing deals suck. I'll say this, I'm signed to a publishing deal, and the first deals aren't usually the greatest. Mine isn't even as bad as some of these guys. I mean, you have Hit Boy, who said he was signed to his pub deal for 16 years, and it wasn't until now with Rock Nation and Jay that they were able to get him out of that.
Together night in and night out to ultimately solidify the biggest rap tour of all time and the biggest tour of the summer, with every
SZA looking divine.
single moment and show that they have arrived at. Well, when you see the praise that Kendrick has been held, and even just the way the crowds have moved over and over again, and how Kendrick has stuck to the art no matter what else is going on. Well, this is exactly what Kendrick meant when he said that you can try to rig the game, but you can't fake it. Because outside of all the noise and chaos that other side of rap keeps trying to perpetuate, well, for Kendrick Lamar, you can just so clearly see real people being moved and people having nothing to say but the highest praise for him. And really, when you just see this, which even when Kendrick was closing out this tour and before Drake took things this far, tensions were already rising because Drake has been crashing out and talking crazy for a while throughout the entire rollout and plan of everything he is doing.
Well, I mean, the fact that he's still throwing subs at Kendrick Lamar, like, dude, we all know who you're talking about. The person that dismantled you last year. You might as well go out and say his name, but he's not going to do that, obviously, because of that case. But with him acting like this, fam, he's totally underestimating the intelligence of that judge. She already questioned a lot of the narratives that his team of lawyers were trying to spin, and she even brought up the fact that she knows that Drake was a willing participant. So the fact that he's making all these requests for information that seems like it has nothing to do with the case, man, just shows me how much Drake and his team has just been chasing after their own tail.
Both with the Iceman episodes, because of course we have seen this whole Pinocchio character that Drake is trying to call Kendrick Lamar, and I'm sure Kendrick has unfortunately had to...
I did see this. I think Disney may have sent some cease and desist, even though they don't own the character of Pinocchio. If I'm not mistaken, that Pinocchio picture at the end has been pulled off the Iceman videos.
See this himself, because despite Kendrick never actually being online, he seemingly does see so much because he's so tapped in when you hear him rap or just hear him talk. And between that and all the monologues that Drake has made about him during his performances, Kendrick has to know what's going on. And none of it's moving him. And
he's not oblivious, he just moves with intention. When you don't want to give any of Drake's narratives any type of credence, any type of motion, you know? People are already looking at him like he's crazy. And when you're silent, people don't know your next move. They don't know how you're going to react. So that makes him crash out even further, which is what we're seeing from Drake on a daily basis.
None of it's causing him to do a single thing, which honestly, in a way, must only be making Lawbury go more insane.
Exactly.
And truly, as we are in an era where it is so easy to just post something embarrassing and try to say something out of impulse that you wanted to get off, but then you just look awful for
sassy.
it overall. To just see Kendrick Lamar really, since Like That dropped, now just stick to the music and art of what he is.
I don't know if you followed Kendrick's whole career, Fantastic Hip Hop. That's been Kendrick's MO since the beginning.
Doing and never fall into the trap of becoming a clown who is ruining their reputation online and engaging in the back and forth.
I don't think that was an option
that people like Drake build their entire brands off of in this era. Well, listen, when one guy is running around and begging to get DNA tests like this is a normal thing that anybody has ever done in any sort of a conflict.
In the history of rap especially. It just seems like something that's come out of left field because that case has nothing to do with this. These are just claims that he wants to prove to people are true and narratives that he wanted to stick that obviously didn't.
And the other guy only ever comes out to make music and express himself to the highest level that an artist can. Well, once again, when you were just checked into the reality that me and you are in right now, you see every single thing you need to know. And so really now with Kendrick Lamar just being able to do what matters in this time and keep up his all-time run and engage with this Karen stuff only when it is building on the story and run from him, which is carrying and protecting the entire genre of hip-hop. Well, really, outside of these artistic moments, which are just progressing Kendrick's movement forward without deteriorating any of it at the same time, I think the silence we will continue to see from Kendrick Lamar and the persistence and devotion he has to his craft and hip hop will continue to speak volumes. And really, now at the same time as we
just like it always has.
have a literal clown show and mess diluting and destroying everything that hip hop has ever built. Just to have a rapper that is acting like a beacon for creativity and who is continuing to keep gimmicks away from him, even when they are becoming pretty near in terms of his personal life, in terms of the fact that now Kendrick and his family are being pulled into this paperwork, and who knows how the label is going to respond to that. Well, listen, I don't think these losers have gotten the point yet, but all of this is only going to make Kendrick Lamar do one thing and one thing only, which is going to be just have more all-time great things to rap about than ever.
Kendrick Lamar is a storyteller that really taps into stuff that has actually happened to him, unlike other people who are just cosplaying, which is why it's so unbelievable to believe the things that they say. Kendrick Lamar isn't going to go and crash out on a story, but you're probably going to get a fire record that wins a Grammy because of it.
All this is just going to be more motivation and fuel to make him go harder in every single thing that he does and nothing else.
And I don't think he needs extra motivation. You don't get to the level that Kendrick Lamar has been at, because I don't like this narrative that a lot of people try to run with. Like, Kendrick Lamar just became a superstar out of nowhere. Like, guys, this guy has had albums sell 600,000 copies first week before, way before any of this beef stuff. So he's been premier, and I really want to cut that narrative out.
To be honest, the way this moment is moving and the way Kendrick is responding, this is what he told us to prepare for and how he would move on tracks like Man at the Garden, Whacked Out Murals, and so much else. And really, as we are in this time where we are just seeing the full circle, almost prophecy it feels like, of Kendrick doing the most hip-hop thing ever in the Control verse back in 2013. And then to foil that, seeing Drake whining back then during that iconic Elliott Wilson interview, and all of that.
Mind you, that's coming from the person that said he studied rap battles for a living. Erroneous.
Now reached the point where today we have seen this very obsession and jealousy that Drake has had of Kendrick reach the point where he is doing everything he is in the paperwork. Meanwhile, at the same time, Lamar is still that beacon of hip hop, and the only reason Drake is crashing out right now the way he is because that's exactly what Kendrick stands for, and Drake can't deny that. What is clear is that the only reaction.
That's so fire, man. Homage to Mac Dre.
Action that Drake is ever going to get out of, with all of the things he drags out and tries to embarrass himself with no matter what, are just more performances and moments that are going to make everybody see that Kendrick is not just arguably the greatest rapper of not just this generation, because we know he is, but
he's in the conversation for greatest rapper of all time. With each accolade he earns, with each new notch he adds to his belt, that case is just going to get even stronger.
But really, and this is how high the stakes are at this point, one of the most important artists, faces, and beacons of an entire form of expression and just creativity in general that we have seen in the history of modern media. And so now with all this said, let me know. What do you think about how Kendrick is moving right alongside every single thing?
As far as the way Kendrick is moving, he's always moved like this, always moved with intention. Kendrick Lamar has always been substance over everything else, always maintaining his artistic integrity to the highest level, and he doesn't need to go, like I said earlier, on a live and crash out or post some sassy story or post himself making duck lips to the camera. That's just not him. That guy's language is music, and it's always been that. So I don't expect nothing but that from him. We do get a rare interview every now and then, but he is always spoken through his music. As far as Drake, he's always been this petty guy, and obviously the way he's been spiraling out shows how bothered he still is about everything. The fact that they're requesting stuff about Kendrick Lamar's personal life that seems to have nothing to do with that case is also something else that cements the narrative for me, that this guy doesn't care about bots and payola because he knows that's an industry-wide practice, something that he's probably benefited a lot over the course of his career, because you don't get to this level without that help. You don't get to the front of the playlist without them calling and making sure you're in the front of that playlist. Almost nothing in the music industry just happens because it happens. It was a well thought out rollout. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Obviously, Drake doesn't have that same support he used to at UMG, which is why the moves just look ass, guys. Because now him and his team are the ones controlling everything, which you've seen over the past year and a half. Probably not be the best way to operate for them. I'm pretty sure most of those requests are going to be denied. That judge is definitely very, very smart, and she very well knows how hypocritical this case actually is. But definitely let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think that Kendrick Lamar is moving any differently? I feel like not really. The dude has really always moved like this. He's always been very intentional with what he says and how he moves. Drake, on the other hand, has been known to crash out before and be petty. Obviously, now those tactics seem to not work for him at all. Also, let me know what you guys think about his request for the information he asked for. Do you guys even think that it has any relevancy at all towards this case? But like I said earlier, we have that freestyle that I wanted to cover as well. It's, I want to say, from like 16 years ago. And again, it involves a minor. But this is a hypocritical bar, so let's actually hear it. This track is called Good Riddance by Drake, obviously. And it's actually another diss, this time to a rapper named Aristo.
Damage me. You trying to cover up your lies like a canopy and trying to pull 17-year-olds down in Bramley. And we don't got it out for you. Trying to cover up your lies like a canopy and trying to pull 17-year-olds down in Bramley.
Again, a very hypocritical bar when we have some questionable footage of you actually bringing 17-year-old girls up on stage, kissing them and speaking on their anatomy in a very inappropriate manner. So if he's got bars like this, how can he go and say anything about Kendrick Lamar when he was throwing those very same accusations on somebody else? Again, a lot of people are probably going to think that he's very hypocritical for calling anyone else out about things that he has done. And a lot of times when people object so hard, it's because they themselves know that maybe they are talking about them because they have some skeletons in their closet, allegedly. And I want to say around that time is when he brought that girl up on stage. Now these comments are probably going to be egregious. Did he call him a PDF? Yeah, exactly. Why does he sound like Joe Budden? Man, this dude has no originality at all. If you guys don't remember, he's actually said this a multitude of times. He actually really looked up to Joe Budden and the way he rapped, which is why you can hear the influence. He should be the last person to talk about being seen with underage girls. Number one, not promoted by a label to help the label's interests. No criminal term was stated. He would have sued anyone on some Millie Bobby shit if a defamation case was ever that easy. And this is obviously a cult of the Ovihoites member, because defamation is defamation. It's a pretty clear definition. This is when he wanted to be Joe Budden, when Joe Budden was the greatest and the bestest rapper he wanted to emulate. Hilarious. But Drake acknowledges 17-year-olds is too young. And also that narrative that using PDF bars in the battle is frowned upon is dead, LOL. Again, very hypocritical. How can you say that Kendrick Lamar can't use those type of bars when you used them 16 years ago? The irony, everything from admitting 17 is wrong, and the foreshadowing in the diss title. Everything coming back to bite Drake. 1000%. And I'm pretty sure this will probably be submitted as evidence by UMG. They're actually adding UMG as well. UMG might owe you a check. Wrap it up, bozo. Yeah, man. Shout out to Funk Flex, man. And that infamous Drake Blackberry freestyle. I'm pretty sure you guys remember it. He even clowned Tyga for his relationship with an underage Kylie Jenner. Drake is an entitled crybaby ass bitch and a sore loser. Most definitely a sore loser. Pot calling the kettle black. Aside, he sounds eerily like Jay-Z here. And that's the thing. Drake has been biting flows for a very long time. Yo, bro, you hell, man. You pull out receipts like somebody overcharged you for something. LOL. Yeah, definitely, man. That's the thing. The internet is forever, guys. Things are going to resurface. You can try to delete them, and they're still going to be out there somewhere. Birdman likes talking numbers when it's money. Drake talks numbers when it's underage girls. Damn, that's a bar right there. It sounds like Joe Budden. Flow and cadence. No wonder he was hurt. He loved them. And yeah, man, when your very own idols are the ones that clown on you, man, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna break your heart. Nigga up listening to the O's right here, big fan. No, I'm pretty sure you just don't want things coming to light. They actually added the OVO docket and the OVO members. Probably some of the biggest cult of the OVOite pages on X. Oh shit. And not very surprising at all, man, because the hypocrisy has been off the charts. He also said the same thing about Tyga for getting with Kylie, exactly. This when Drake rapped like Trey Songz and Joe Budden. And definitely that Trey Songz connection was real. I want to say Drake was in that music video by Trey before Drake blew up. At UMG added to the file against the hip hop Karen. Joe Budden Jr. Yeah, man. That's Mouse Jr. At UMG need to cut you a check. For real. But it's not like UMG probably doesn't have plenty of evidence against Drake. If the company that actually built who he is doesn't know where the skeletons are buried, fam, you'd be crazy to think that. So when he was rapping like Joe. Wait, what? You telling me this nigga insinuated another man was a PDF in a rap battle before? Just in case y'all need some more info for the courts dealing with this weirdo. I thought that was Joe Budden right there, yo. And that's the thing. A lot of the cult of the OVOites weren't around for the early Drake. They weren't around when even the girls were clowning him, Wheelchair Jimmy, and a bunch of other jokes. And Drake has always exhibited Karen behavior. When he was still on Degrassi, he actually threatened to sue the production because of the way they were writing his character. He felt like it was going to ruin his rap career. Obviously, he still blew up, but he's always been a Karen. I know a clone when I see one. This is little guy clearly has root development issues with transplant shock. Get him a stable environment. And that's the thing. When you have a chip on your shoulder, you either use that to fuel you, or you could use that to fuel you and hold it against everybody. Back when he used to rap like Joe, shit used to hit for show. His Atlanta colonization didn't hit the same. Back when he was still doing his Hove impersonations, not him using the Joe Budden flow. Again, guys, he's been biting flows for a very long time. There's rappers that do it, but some are more egregious than others. But definitely let me know what you guys think of this freestyle resurfacing. Definitely let me know how you feel about Drake and his team's stance that using the PDF bars is just crossing the line when he has done it before. So definitely let me know what you guys think about all this. Definitely hit the like and subscribe button, guys. It does your channel wonders. I really want to thank you guys so much for continuing to make this channel a part of your day. It honestly means the world to me. And all the love and support that you guys continue to show on a daily is honestly overwhelming and probably the biggest reason why I make these videos. So I really want to let you guys know how grateful I am for all of it. Guys, I want to send a big shout out to all those that have been joining YouTube memberships. A small way to support the channel, but definitely goes a long way in helping out. And also a very big super thank you to all those that have been sending super thanks, because this last month has been record setting when it comes to super thanks. So again, guys, I'm so grateful. I'm definitely looking forward to your takes on these, even though I'm pretty sure which way you guys are going to be leaning towards. Hope you guys love this video, and I hope to see you guys soon. The absolute nerve and hypocrisy for saying someone crossed the line for doing the very same thing you've done before.